immediately fell in love with the city. I love the food, the mild weather, the serene view of the mountains and the sea, and just how beautiful and peaceful the city is. I returned home a week later, only to find that I was homesick in my own home. And then I realized that deep in my heart, Busan was now my new home. I moved to Busan the following year, and I'm now working at the Tourism Promotion Organization for Asia Pacific Cities, TPO Secretariat in Busan. My future lies in Busan, and Busan is the future for us all. Global City Busan, we are in it together. This campaign is brought to you by befm 부산영어방송.
Welcome to Busan. Let me show you around. Here you can find the world's largest musical in-ground fountain and the world's only UN memorial cemetery. Stroll along the coast and explore the largest mountain fortress in Korea. As well as all this, there are so many tourist attractions, beautiful exhibitions, vibrant culture, convenient facilities, and delicious foods unique to Busan. With all the beauty and charm of the amazing city of Busan, you'll find yourself right at home in this ever-changing tourism paradise. So stay with us a while. Busan, your #1 tourist destination. Your home, away from home. This campaign is brought to you by BEFM, 부산영어방송.
The time is now 7 o'clock.
Every workplace has had a generational divide since the beginning of time. We know this. But what sets this generational divide apart is that the younger generation is no longer taking what they perceive as unfair practices. This is happening in one of the most rigid sectors. I'm talking about the public sector, as the so-called MZ public servants are resigning in notable numbers. Is this a case of kids these days not being what they used to be, or is there something wrong with the workplaces that may be driving young workers away? Let's find out. I'm Catherine. This is Morning Wave in Busan on Thursday, March 14th on BEFM 부산영어방송. Good morning, Wavers. I am happy to welcome you to our program today. So it is Thursday already. And so today we are going to be talking about the country apparently seeing a quick turnaround in younger public servants. We call that turnover, a phenomenon that seems to be continuing. And according to the National Assembly Research Service, over 13,000 public servants with under 5 years of service left their respective jobs last year. This is double the resignation rate from 2019. Actually, the competition rate is falling fast as well. So back in 2016, competition for Tier 9 public servants. So that actually exam came to nearly 54-1. That was the competition. Last year, it was 23-1. And so experts point out that this rapid rate of resignation can be traced back to low wages, a rigid work culture, and work-related stress. And in terms of wages, the basic income for the lowest tier of government workers was $1,770,000 per month last year. And so on top of this, The pension reform means that the younger generation workers, the government workers, will pay more into the pension and receive less than their older counterparts. The National Assembly report said that there is a need to reflect the demands of these younger officials, not only in their wages, but in their working culture. So that is what we're talking about today. The exit of these young public workers, well, it's not just an issue of human resources alone, but also about governance and public service. So ultimately, this is an issue that may concern not just young people, but all of us. All right, now it is time for our text topic. Are you ready for this? Today is March 14th. In Korea, it's also known as White Day or White Day, when, a man professes his love for a woman or maybe gives a gift to his significant other. We're going to talk about proposals today. If you are married, tell us about how your proposal went. Did you propose? Were you proposed to? Or maybe we could do a do-over. How would you do it? If you had to do it all over again, how would you do it? And for our unmarried listeners, how would you like to propose or be proposed to? 오늘은 화이트데이고 하니 로맨틱한 얘기 한번 해볼까 하는데요. 기혼이신 분들, married, 여러분의 프로포즈 스토리 궁금하고 그다음에 혹은 다시 프로포즈를 할 수 있다면 어떻게 하겠다? 또 미혼 분들은, 결혼 안 하신 분들은 내가 하고 싶은 혹은 받고 싶은 프로포즈는 let me know through our live stream, a live chat on YouTube. Also, pound 9050, that's going to cost you 101. You can also reach me for free on Kakao Talk. And to remind you, we are, yes, live on YouTube. You can watch again on YouTube as well, or check out our Patbang app. Okay, let's look ahead to our morning together. So what do we have? We have Lydia with Beyond the Headlines, and Han, she's coming in later on with City Insights. For our special interview, we are going to be covering this, the turmoil in Haiti, because there's a lot going on right now in terms of the jailbreak with the Prime Minister Ariel Henry. He resigned. What comes next with a country that is so grappling with so many issues? So tell us more about this, and I'll be back with news in just a moment. The time is now 7:05, and these are today's headlines. Rival parties announce 10 key pledges for upcoming general elections. With less than a month to go until general elections to form the 22nd National Assembly, both the ruling and main opposition parties announced their 10 key pledges, with much focus on resolving the country's critically low birth rate and climate crisis. Medical professors up threat to resign en masse. Professors from medical schools nationwide have begun to contemplate whether to submit resignations in collective action, pressuring the government to seek a breakthrough in the protracted walkout by trainee doctors, according to a medical professors group association yesterday. Defense chief calls for capabilities to swiftly eliminate North Korean leadership in event of war. Defense Minister Shin Won-si called on special operations troops yesterday to equip themselves with capabilities to swiftly eliminate North Korean leadership if it starts a war against the South. President Yoon vows to expand budget for space development by 2027. President Yoon Suk-yeol stressed yesterday that South Korea's third miracle will involve space. As he said, the journey for the nation to join the ranks of the world's top 5 space powers has begun. U.S. House passes bill that could ban TikTok despite resistance from Trump. The House voted with bipartisan, overwhelming fashion on Wednesday local time to pass a bill that could lead a nationwide ban against TikTok, a major challenge to one of the world's most popular social media apps. It is now time for me to check in with Annie for our local updates. So let's see what she has to say. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes. So it's a lovely, lovely spring morning, or almost spring morning anyways. Right. So in terms of proposals, did you get a good one? Or did you propose? I don't know. Nowadays, who cares who proposes, right?
That's true. That is a change in ideologies.
Yes.
But no, I didn't really get a proposal. I don't know if my husband would say otherwise.
Uh-huh.
He claims,
okay.
We were at the Las Vegas airport coming back from like a friend's wedding. Not in Las Vegas, but we did long distance. We're still long distance. And he just said, oh, maybe we should get married.
And you said?
Okay. And apparently that was the proposal.
That was.
I didn't know he was being serious because he's very against marriage initially. So I was like, okay. I mean, sure, why not?
I'm so curious. So did you always, so he was kind of maybe not hesitant, but maybe just not really thinking about marriage. But were you thinking about marriage at all? Or was it like on your mind?
I was always, if it happens, it happens. If not,
both of you.
I'm pretty content in my life. But we both were like, hey, we have more fun together. Let's just stay together.
Wow, that's so cool. I love it. All right, let's now get into our first update. We're going to talk about the general elections and the issues that the people of Busan find most important.
Right, so the people of Busan saw the relocation of public institutions to Busan, including the Korea Development Bank, as the top issue for the general election. And this is based on the results of the KSOI poll commissioned by Busanilbo and Busan MBC. That's on March 8th through the 10th, across residents from 9 districts and counties. And the poll has a 95% rate of confidence with plus or minus 4.4% margin of error. And in particular, the residents of central and eastern Busan saw this as the most pertinent issue.
I see. And so, this is quite a sensitive issue for both parties, so major parties.
That's true. So for the ruling People Power Party, President Yoon Suk-yeol vowed to relocate public institutions to non-capital areas as his top 120 governance tasks. But the planned announcement of this roadmap was postponed to after the election and maybe even to next year at this rate. For the Democratic Party, there is a difference in opinion between Busan lawmakers and the Central Party over this KDB relocation, and having this be a sensitive part of the constituency isn't really great news for the party.
Right.
As for other issues, the people of Busan pointed to the construction of Kadok Airport, reopening the Bulgyang megacity issue, and the rapid passage of the special legislation on Busan as a global hub city.
I see. So, of course, as we're building up to the general elections, we'll have more details as it pertains to our city, of course. And now we're going to talk about Busan's plans for balanced regional development within the city.
Yes, Busan City announced that it will establish plans suited for each region within the city. The plans will divide the entire city into 6 larger regions and 60 living spheres as a key part of the 15-minute city plan. The first part involves dividing western Busan into the Gangseo and Gangdong regions. That's west and east of the river, respectively. The Gangdong region includes Buk, Saha, and Sasang districts. The key goal is to improve aged residential areas, secure blue and green infrastructure by utilizing the water and the mountains, and also improving technology for the aged industrial complexes.
So we're hoping that does kind of balance things out, of course. Next up, though, let's talk about our subways. Busan subways are looking to ban some personal mobility devices due to safety reasons.
Yes, so if you take the subway, you've probably seen people carrying their electric bicycles or scooters or some other personal mobility devices. The thing is, though, there have been concerns about the safety of their batteries. There was a fire from one of these devices just last year on the subway.
Okay.
And these electric battery fires actually can't be extinguished with conventional fire extinguishers. And that could be extremely dangerous, of course, in an environment like the subway. So Busan Metro recently proposed to the Land, Infrastructure and Transport Ministry to restrict the entry of these personal mobility devices with the risks of battery fires from coming into the subway.
Yes. So I hear, though, there are other issues with banning all personal mobility devices.
Right. So this technically includes electronic wheelchairs, which, of course, they cannot ban wheelchairs.
I hope not.
Busan Metro said that it is working with the fire department for joint drills and that it will come up with fire prevention measures. As of 2020, there are over 90,000 people who have motorized wheelchairs here in Korea and 107,000 electric bicycles.
Yes. So for the safety of everybody, I do understand, but people with, mobility issues or disabilities, they
Right.
definitely need their wheelchairs. All right, lastly, Busan City is looking for students in their 50 and above life school. What is this?
Yes, Busan City is running the 50-plus Life Reconstruction College, which is aimed at the new middle-age group of those between 50 and 64 years old.
Sure.
This education program runs specialized programs to help older adults kind of prepare for this second chapter of their lives. 10 universities in Busan participate in these programs, offering all sorts of different classes. Busan National University has courses on single-person media creators and ChatGPT classes. And then Dongi University has classes on drones and drone certification. Silla University has urban agriculture programs to support those who kind of wish to create startups in this field. And then the Catholic University of Busan has expert courses on wellness care. But if you want the full list, it is available on busan.go.kr. The courses are for a full year, usually twice a week, and participants do have to pay about 100,000 won tuition, although it does differ from university to university.
Sure.
The city will offer various programs associated with these classes, and the head of Busan's social welfare department said that these courses will help this new middle-aged generation get a meaningful start on the second chapter of their lives.
Yes, because, 50 up
It's
to
young.
64 young these days, right? So thank you for the updates, Annie, and we'll check in with her in just a little bit. Now it's back to you, the listeners. It is about our text topic today. So today is March 14th. That happens to be White Day here in Korea. So what does this mean? Here, if you are not familiar with the culture, on Valentine's Day, February 14th, usually, the woman professes her love or, gives a little gift or chocolate or whatnot. And then today on March 14th, the man supposedly reciprocates or, confesses his love or gives a little gift. But today, that's all great, but we're talking about proposals. Yes, so if you're married, tell us about your proposal, how it went, or maybe you didn't. But if you could have a do-over, if you could do it again, how would you do it? Proposing or just, on the receiving end, what kind of proposal would you like to see? And for unmarried people, how would you like to be proposed to? How would you like to propose? Do you have like a kind of this grand event in mind or just something really simple? Or maybe you don't believe in proposals. Whatever it is, let us know. And here is Annie back with our traffic and weather.
Good morning, everyone. Here's your weather and traffic for this first hour. So the roads are busy this Thursday morning. There's congestion on Gayadero. That's from Sasang District Office intersection heading toward Nakdong Bridge. Likewise, it is also busy on Dongsa Overpass heading out of the city near Bomnekgor Interchange. And lastly, it's quite backed up on Name Expressway heading toward Kime. So please drive safe as always. But if we look over to the weather, it is currently 6 degrees Celsius with afternoon highs expected to reach quite a warm 17 degrees Celsius today. So spring is definitely knocking on our doors with this big temperature gap. And the skies will be overall clear, but do expect some scattered clouds throughout the day. And lastly, the fine dust levels are currently at normal levels, but it may get worse later in the day, so definitely be prepared with a mask and so on. That's all for now. See you in the second hour.
Check this out.
This is Morning Wave in Busan.
Everybody, wait a minute.
This is Morning Wave.
Morning Wave.
You are listening to
Morning Wave.
Morning Wave in Busan.
What show is this?
This is Morning Wave in Busan.
Here we go.
Morning Wave in Busan.
It's now time for News Digest. We have Haley in the studio. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, so, I hope it's another beautiful day. I do see the clouds with the sun.
Slightly, but it's nice. So a
No
beautiful
rain?
sunrise.
I'm okay.
Yeah.
All right, so before we get into our news today, I do want to ask you about proposals. Do you have one in mind?
Not really, but I would like it to not be a surprise. Not a surprise. Not a surprise. Not a surprise proposal.
Because?
Well, I mean, I see, when I'm on the social media rabbit hole of,
Yes.
shorts after shorts after shorts, sometimes those like jumbotron proposals, like in the middle of I'm sure during baseball, it's not called a halftime, but whatever the equivalent of a baseball halftime is, something. A guy, usually it's a guy, gets on his knees and proposes in front of the entire stadium full of people.
And when did you want to say no?
Exactly. I'm
Or
like,
not
I
yet.
just want to be like, did you guys have a conversation about this before? Like, is this like, oh my
Is this
God.
okay?
Right. I'm like, is this agreed upon? I mean, that's like one of my worst.
That's
Not that I
pressure.
have men lined up to surprise propose to me in the middle of stadium. So I'm like, oh, that is
That's not your thing.
up my alley at all.
So kind of like a private one.
Very private.
Okay, I fully understand. I get it. All right, we're going to get into our first story. A series of policies were announced yesterday, which would boost consumer rights. So we're going to start with protection measures with direct purchasing from Chinese platforms.
Right. So direct purchasing Kuku is such a big part of consumption patterns these days, and especially from Chinese platforms like AliExpress and Temu. It's been extremely popular, but that's also led to some consumer losses. So the Fair Trade Commission, the FTC, yesterday announced these new protection measures, as well as monitoring unfair business acts by these platforms to kind of level the playing field with domestic platforms.
Sure.
So this would include revising the E-commerce Act to have overseas operators like these company designate a local customer service agent, which you can only imagine if you're trying to get refunds or exchanges or ask questions, having to deal with the language barriers and having to try to contact them online.
Sure.
So it'll also have the Korean Intellectual Property Office, the IP office, work with the Korea Customs Service to prevent sales of fake goods through direct purchases. That's also been the issue as well.
Yes.
And it's also seeking to sign an agreement with AliExpress and Temu and other entities that would call for cooperation for voluntary efforts to better ensure the rights of consumers here in Korea. And why this is important is that last year, the Consumers Union received 465 cases of consumer complaints, and that is a steep increase from just 93 the previous year. So it shows how prevalent these direct purchases are. So FTC is therefore conducting an inspection into AliExpress on suspicions of its violation of consumer protection duties.
Right, and keep in mind that these 465 cases are just the people who did, take the time to actually file a complaint. So there might be many more. On to some domestic issues. Wedding services will be required to disclose their prices.
Right. So, from what I glean and from people's experience, things have a tendency to just
maybe add a zero, just get really way more expensive as soon as you add the word wedding onto
that's
it. So
true.
if it's a dress versus a wedding dress, if it's a cake versus a wedding cake.
Sure.
So there are also these added secret costs that really are not made clear to you until you get the final bill. And you're like, why is this so expensive?
Right,
And there
right.
were these extras. So the FTC stated that starting next year, these wedding-related products and services, they will be required to be fully disclosed on the Korea Consumer Agency website.
Okay.
And there will also be a standard terms and agreement contract available for things like contract termination penalties and immunity clauses for wedding planners. Because right now there are these standard agreements for venues and other operators, but not wedding planner services.
Really?
Yeah, so that's surprising. And then on top of this, I mean, get in line because museums and art galleries will be made open for weddings. So I know. So you could technically, if you are able to get into that competitive line, get
Yes.
married potentially at the National Art Gallery or the National Museum.
Wow.
Which, yeah. I mean, even if
Just
you
the
are
idea.
not engaged, just make a reservation.
Just book it.
Just in case.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow, wow, wow. All right. And this last bit of consumer change goes into effect immediately, apparently. Cell phone paybacks?
Right, kind of similar to rebates, but these price stipends and compensations. So starting today, as a matter of fact, if you change your telecom provider, so cell phone provider, and thus change your phone number, you can get up to 500,000 won in stipends on top of the current support.
Okay.
So this is based on the Korea Communications Commission passing the relevant laws to revise the 단통법, the Mobile Device Distribution Improvement Act. So it basically seeks to activate competition between telecom providers to reduce the burden of changing cell phones for consumers because cell phones quite expensive.
Yes.
So the transfer stipend means that if you switch telecom providers, your new provider will pay for things like the contract termination fee with your old provider, the cost of a new SIM card, and any losses you may incur from terminating your contract. But there will be a 500,000, so 50만 won maximum on this.
Interesting. So this is probably pertinent. I mean, it's going to apply to many people out there.
Right, right.
All right. Our next topic is all about cars and the different trends we're seeing in the automobile industry.
Right, so diesel cars, not so popular anymore, which makes sense. So for
Yes.
the first time ever in South Korea, the number of diesel vehicles actually faltered below LPG or liquid petroleum gas vehicles.
Really?
And this is a reflection definitely of the decarbonization trend. And this is according to the Cars U Data Research Center, where last month it reported that 11,523 diesel vehicles were newly registered. And this is for both personal and business registrations in the country.
Okay.
But that is actually a 55% decrease from the same time last year. And it only now accounts for only 10% of all vehicles.
Okay.
On the other hand, LPG vehicle registrations spiked by 137% to narrowly surpassing diesel vehicles by about 200 cars last month.
Okay.
But overall, of course, gasoline vehicles accounted for the highest number at 58,000, followed by 27,000 hybrid cars. So hybrids are the second most popular. In third place was LPG, fourth was diesel, and this was surprising. In fifth place was electric vehicles. This, however, was likely due to because every year the government makes new policy announcements on how much they're giving out in stipends.
Yes.
And there was a delay in that, so people likely held off on buying electric vehicles until they were sure how much money they're getting back from the government.
Okay.
But then there's also this overall trend in eco-friendly vehicles, of course, coupled with economic reasons of high diesel prices triggered by the war in Ukraine.
Ah, yes, yes, indeed. And, you know, another change in the car market are these bright green license plates for corporate vehicles.
I wonder if any of our listeners have seen that. I've seen a couple, and I had to kind of do a double take of,
What is
that's,
that?
that's so bright. So
Yes.
you may have seen not many, one or two of these bright lime green license plates on the road, and they mark expensive corporate vehicles, and that was implemented this year.
Oh, there's a price thing.
There's a price thing because from this January, corporate vehicles that are priced at 80 million won or above, so 8천만 원 or above, they must have these lime green license plates. Below, still the regular white plates. So this may be discouraging executives and companies from buying expensive cars on the company dime because you do get a lot of tax breaks if you write off the cost of the vehicle and usually the gas. So in February, import vehicles that cost over 80 million won for corporations came to 3,550 won for the month, and that was a decrease definitely of these vehicles. However, the most common brand is still BMW, followed by Mercedes-Benz and Porsche in third place, which was surprising. But these three vehicles usually kind of have a rotating, they just rotate within top three. So these are still very popular vehicles. So according to the reports, there has been a decrease of 1,200 of such vehicles compared to the same time last year. So that definitely shows this having this bright lime green license plate plays a role in terms of the image these executives may want to portray.
Sure.
Yeah.
So we'll see if the numbers change next time around. All right, lastly, we're going to turn to Gaza, where there are accusations that starvation is being used as a weapon.
Which unfortunately shows that starvation is more and more becoming an issue in the Strip. So this is according to the European Union's foreign policy chief, Joseph Borrell, who claims that starvation is being used as a weapon of war, and this lack of aid they're seeing is a man-made disaster. So his comments come after the United Nations has warned that at least 576,000 people in Gaza, and that's about a quarter of the population, are just one step away from famine. And actually already at least 27 people, including many children, have died from starvation or malnutrition. And that's according to the Hamas-run health ministry. And that was just in the past 2 weeks.
I mean, it's becoming really, really devastating, but there is some aid that is on its way to Gaza?
Yes, there is. Aid is going in, but not via the way that would be most helpful. So, which is by land, just having trucks carry aid in, because Israel is restricting land borders. So the only other option is via sea or airdrops. And we've previously covered how aid experts criticize these airdrops as basically a glorified photo op that are not very helpful.
Yes.
So the other option is by ship, and there's a Spanish ship that's departed from Cyprus headed for Gaza that's carrying food. And the U.S. is also sending supplies to build a temporary port to deliver aid.
Yes.
And the United Nations says, however, that it will not be enough. Well, Israel says that it's not to blame for Gaza's food shortages. However, to make matters worse, Israeli forces just this morning, Korea time, hit a food distribution center in Rafah in the southern border, and that attack killed 5 people, including one UN staffer. The Israeli military says that this was an attempt to kill a Hamas commander in a precise strike. It says it succeeded in killing the commander. However, this has, at least according to the latest accounts, 5 people dead and 22 injured.
Well, thank you for giving us the updates, not just on this, but of course on all the top news stories. And we'll be sure to check in with you in hour number 2. Thank you, Haley.
See you in a bit.
All right. And now let's take a song break. Today is White Day. 그리고 제가 다 I have control. I get to choose the songs today, so here it is. First song up today is Love by Keisha Cole.
I used to think that I wasn't fine enough, and I used to think that I wasn't wild enough, but I won't waste my time trying to figure out why you playing games, what's this all about, and I can't believe you hurting me. I met your girl, what a difference. What you see in her, you ain't seen in me, but I guess it was all just make believe. Oh, love, never knew what I was missing, but I knew once we start kissing, I found
love when I get to play DJ because I get to choose the songs. So anyhow, that was loved by Keisha Cole. Today we are going over this exodus of young government workers, which is also happening in Busan. According to the Public Service Pension Corporation in 2022, 886 national and regional government officials resigned. And this pattern is particularly prominent among younger workers. Also, nearly 62% of public officials in their 20s responded that they would change jobs if they had a chance. That's kind of telling. In fact, the Kaduk Airport Construction Corporation's recent job posting for experienced workers caused quite a stir in the industry with a 95-to-1 competition ratio for some fields. Of course, this is like, your right to do so, but it does carry a heavy social cost. It takes resources, taxpayer money to hire and train new public servants on such a frequent level. Unfortunately, given the nature of this job, it's really hard to drastically change benefits or wages. So the most effective change that may be feasible is changes within the work culture. So that is what we're looking at today. But hey, for something fun, because it's March 14th. Here in Korea, it's known as White Day, which I never celebrated in the States, but like there's a separate day for Valentine's Day here in Korea. It's the women that give gifts to men, or like chocolate, and then it's vice versa on March 14th, a month after. So today it's all about like professing love or giving a little gift or something like that. But my main focus today is on proposals. If you're married, tell us about your proposal, whether you propose or whether you were proposed to, and if you could have a do-over. Would you change anything? Would you do things differently? For our unmarried listeners, how would you like to propose or be proposed to? And by the way, these days, there is no it always has to be the guy proposing. Those are days of past. 자, 오늘은 White Day입니다. 그래서 로맨틱한 이야기를 나누고 있는 중인데요. 기혼이신 분들, 결혼하신 분들, 여러분의 프로포즈 스토리 이야기를 듣고 싶고요. 혹은 다시 프로포즈를 할 수 있다면 어떻게 하고 싶으신지, 아니면 어떤 프로포즈를 다시 받고 싶은지. 그리고 미혼, 결혼 안 하신 분들은 내가 하고 싶은 혹은 받고 싶은 프로포즈는 what might it be? All right, so let's look at your messages. Are people sharing? I hope so. Okay, so I'm scrolling. Okay, I'm manning like the booth plus the messages, so bear with me just a little bit. All right, so here we go. 고수 waiver. 저는 남잔데 제가 받고 싶은데 어쩌죠? 다시 태어난다면 제가 받고 싶어요. I like this message. 고수 says this. I'm a guy. I want to get proposed to. So if I were to ever be born again, reincarnated, I want to be proposed to. But you got to be specific, 고수 waiver. Like, what kind of proposal do you want? I see a new name up on the board. I see George. So good morning to you. Welcome to our program. I know we have many listeners that listen and, whether you're commuting or not, may not be able to text in. Also, I see Denny Mate waivers. So give a shout out to those two people out there. Yes. And so what other messages? Oh, how about this one? 태진 waiver says propose 하기는 했는데, and then where did the other message go? I'll find his follow-up message. Yes, a JB waiver. propose는 기억이 잘 안 나네요. Oh, so JB, you don't remember your proposal? I wonder if your wife remembers. That's the more important question. Anyhow, I'll be back with our hot clip for now. For today's hot clip, I want to cover a story. It is related to Boeing. Actually, the story today I want to talk about is this employee turned whistleblower for Boeing. His name is John Barnett, and he was found dead by apparent suicide. Let's listen to the clip.
Police in Charleston, South Carolina tell NBC News they are aware of the death of a former Boeing employee turned whistleblower. 62-year-old John Barnett found dead on Friday from what the coroner calls an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound.
So this is my retirement plaque.
Barnett retired from Boeing in 2017 after working as a quality manager for more than 30 years. Since his departure, he has taken legal action against the company, claiming he was retaliated against for raising safety issues internally, issues that Boeing denied at the time. Back in 2019, Barnett sat down with Today, describing a haphazard safety culture at Boeing.
From day one, it's just all been about schedule and hurry up and just get it done, push the planes out. We're behind schedule. You know, we don't have time to worry about issues that y'all bring up.
In 2017, the FAA released a review upholding many of Barnett's concerns. With regards to his sudden death, the company released a statement writing, "We are saddened by Mr. Barnett's passing, and our thoughts are with his family and friends." Production standards at Boeing are under intense scrutiny following a series of troubling incidents involving Boeing planes. The latest on Monday, when a 787 from the South American airline LATAM apparently dropped abruptly mid-flight from Sydney to Auckland, injuring at least 50 passengers and crew members. The airline says it's unclear what caused the strong movement on the flight. NBC News has also confirmed the Justice Department has launched a criminal investigation into Boeing following the blowout door plug on a 787 MAX 9 in January. The NTSB determined the plane left the Boeing plant without critical bolts that hold the plug in place. A scathing new FAA audit also found Boeing failed to comply with its own quality control procedures.
So as you heard in that clip from the Today Show, the lawyers for this employee turned whistleblower, they are calling him a brave, honest man of the highest integrity. So he was in the midst of a deposition in his whistleblower retaliation case when this death was reported on. So such an unfortunate passing. And this whole idea of whistleblowers in our society, in any industry, sometimes they're made scapegoats of many times. So unfortunate passing. This was your hot clip for today.
Stay tuned. You're listening to Morning Wave in Busan.
We have Lydia in the studio for Beyond the Headlines, so let's say hi. Good morning.
Good morning.
Happy White Day to you.
Oh, happy what day?
White Day. White Day.
Oh, today's White Day.
Oh, yes, it is. Where have you been?
Who would have thought? Not me.
I know. I'll be honest. I don't celebrate White Day. Today we just do Valentine's Day. We're still stuck on the
of course. I love
the
chocolate more than hard candy. So.
Anyhow, we're talking about proposals. How would you like to propose or be proposed to?
I think if I were, I was going to say I never think about these things ever. It never crosses my mind.
Really?
Not once. So today's the first time ever thinking about it. I think I would like to be proposed on the beach.
On the beach.
On the beach,
Ooh, that's
yeah.
a nice
like,
one.
Ideally Hawaii. On the big island.
Oh, that's specific.
Yes. And it would be after a long day of surfing.
Oh,
and I would be tan.
Are you sure you've never thought about
I've
this?
never thought about this.
I hear lots of details.
Yes, and I would be very tan. And my hair will be all like salty and then like
like
all
dry,
natural
but like all natural. And then it would be very sudden. And I don't want anyone there watching.
Oh, nobody watching.
I don't want anyone to watch it happening.
Oh, okay, so just you and your significant other.
Yes. And a very big ring.
Are you sure you haven't thought about this?
Pretty sure.
Oh, it's very specific though. Like you're like, it's got to be big.
Yes.
It has to be private.
It has to
on
be
the beach though.
Yes.
Okay, that's interesting.
At sunset.
At sunset. You
Yes,
even have
it'd
a
be
time.
a long day after.
You
surfing.
lie, girl. I've never thought about this, but I just
not
came up
once.
with all of these details.
Yes.
Interesting,
It would be
interesting.
Amazing. Yes.
All right. Well, we are going to get into our segment today. What do you have for us?
So I have a fun topic for you today.
Yay.
This year's Oscars just wrapped up this past weekend. And
Uh-huh.
I'm seeing a lot of buzz from the ceremony. Apparently, there's been some divisive moments that sparked heated debates online. Did you
Sure.
get to watch any of it?
I didn't watch the telecast. I saw like memes, and I've seen the short forms on the
Clips here and
clips.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you, by any chance, see a clip of a naked guy presenting an award?
Oh, John Cena.
Yes, that's. At first, I'm like, am I dreaming that? No, that was reality.
Yes,
so
that
the
was
award for
much.
costume design won't be easily forgotten this year, thanks to award presenter John Cena, a wrestler and actor. He appeared on stage entirely naked, except for a pair of leather sandals that he was wearing, and a strategically placed envelope carrying the name of the winner. He shuffled on stage, and like people were laughing. Some people were saying that it was one of the better sketches of the evening.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, I did see that part. I was just like, whoa, that's a lot of John.
Yeah.
Too much skin. But anyhow, so let's talk about the film that won the top prize.
Can you guess?
I do know which one won, but you know, it begins with an O. Right?
Yes. I think last year, on one of our segments, we talked about a movie that's adjacent to this movie. Like there's like a word that combines these two movies.
Sure.
So it's like Barbenheimer, right? Barbie and Oppenheimer.
Sure.
So Barbie made more money at the box office last year than any other movies.
Really?
At over $1.4 billion globally. It was nominated in 8 different awards at the Oscars this year. Ryan Gosling, who played the character Ken, did a sensational opening performance for the ceremony. But sadly, they didn't win any. And Oppenheimer made $958 million in the box office. Still not that bad. Was nominated for 13 different awards. This Christopher Nolan directed drama Oppenheimer, which is a movie about a man who helped create the atomic bomb.
Yes.
It was considered a front runner even before the award season began, and it ended up taking home 7 awards.
Yes.
Including Best Director, Best Actor, Cillian Murphy, Supporting Actor, and the coveted Best Picture.
But for Barbie, I think it did win one award.
Really?
It was the Billie Eilish song.
Oh, the song.
The
Okay,
song.
sorry.
But that's part of the award.
You're right. My bad. I love Billie Eilish.
Not for acting.
No,
Not for acting.
not. Yeah, but
What was I made for? I like that song.
I was listening to that song on the way here.
I love
a great
that song. Yes, yes.
Yes.
So in terms of like who gets the honor or honors of presenting these awards, I mean, it's kind of random, but I'm very curious. How do they like pick and choose?
Yeah, that's an excellent question, though. As in the case every year, the list of presenter is mix of past winners, newcomers, as well as individuals with some connection to the nominees.
Okay.
Among the first group of presenters this year included 4 winners in acting categories from last year.
Sure.
Brendan Fraser, Michelle Yeoh, which was an Asian woman to win the Best Actress in its 95th year's history.
Yes, yes.
Ke Huy Quan, another Asian American man who won the Best Supporting Role. And Jamie Lee Curtis from Everything Everywhere All at Once. Also Zendaya, Michelle Pfeiffer was there. Bad Bunny, Ariana Grande were in the presenter group as well. And here's a drama, though.
Yes.
Robert Downey Jr., he's best known as Tony Stark in Iron Man. He took home his first Oscar.
For Best Supporting Actor, right?
Yes. But also, he took a heap of criticism for how he accepted it.
Oh, you got to explain.
Yes. So there was an awkward moment when the award for Best Supporting Actor was presented by 5 former winners, including last year, Kwan. And he was very excited about announcing Downey as this year's winner for his role in Oppenheimer. Kwan held the statue and like the envelope.
Yes.
And then Downey went and he like got on the stage. And apparently he didn't even make eye contact with Kwan. He sort of like briskly took the Oscar from his hand without acknowledging him whatsoever. And then the crazy part is then he went on to shake another presenter's hand and then fist bump another guy on the stage, but like didn't really even
But
like
ignored
look
Kwan?
Yeah, basically.
He was like the most loveliest, the story from last year.
Yeah, and apparently they did take a selfie in the backstage after the win, but the fans online were quick to point out Robert Downey Jr.'s behavior.
And what did they say?
Some were saying that he took the award as if he was taking the car keys back from valet parking. And I did see the clip, and it was kind of like...
It was rude?
It was I think maybe like he was excited and he forgot, but like he did shake other people's hands,
right?
Except for this
If he had
guy's.
ignored all 3 of them or whoever was on stage, I would totally say, okay, he's nervous.
Yes.
It's his first Oscar... Things happen, but I don't know. That's kind of a snub.
And like he was like holding the statue, and he just like took it, and yeah,
I don't know. I liked him up until this point, but
yes, it's and apparently similar sort of like snub happened with Michelle Yeoh. Her Korean, I think we call her Yeoh Cha-kyung in Korea, right?
Michelle Yeoh.
And Emma Stone, who won the Best Actress award this year. Emma Stone is best known in a role in Spider-Man and La La Land. When she went up to the stage, and apparently she also seemed to ignore Michelle Yeoh, who was like handing out the. And then, like, apparently Jennifer Lawrence was right next to Michelle Yeoh, and they were, like, so excited to see each other. There's a video showing the moment that Jennifer Lawrence sort of, like, took the statue out of Michelle Yeoh's hand and then shoved it, like, to Emma Stone.
Oh, gosh.
And I could see they're, like, really good friends.
But still.
But, like, Michelle was, like, standing in between them like an awkward sandwich.
Oh, my gosh.
And she was, like, looking lost. But, she's very graceful. She posted on her Instagram saying that, oh, I'm sorry, Emma, that I made you confused about the whole situation. Like, no hard feelings. Yes, very, very graceful. But, the Academy of Motion Pictures remains overwhelmingly sort of like male and white in its history of 95 years. And there's been some change since #OscarsSoWhite started trending 9 years ago. In response to the Oscar nominees' lack of any Black and minority ethnic actors. And according to one study in 2023, before this movement, the study found 8% of nominees were from underrepresented racial or ethnic groups. And after #OscarsSoWhite, the number increased to 17%. But, whether these snubs were intentional or not, people were saying that microaggression towards minorities is real and alive in Hollywood.
Apparently. So as we wrap up this discussion for today, I hear that actor Lee Sung-kyun, he was honored at the ceremony.
Yes, the Academy Awards paid a tribute to all the actors, filmmakers, and crew members who passed away in 2023. The lengthy list also mentioned actor Lee Sung-kyun, who passed away in December. He was in the film Parasite, an Oscar-winning film, and he had also attended the prestigious ceremony in 2020.
That's right.
Parasite won for Academy Awards Best Picture, Director for Bong Joon-ho, Original Screenplay, and International Feature Film. So, yeah, and, as I was preparing for this segment, I was thinking, like, what was my favorite movie last year?
What was it?
I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't watch any movies.
I'll be honest.
I was watching a lot of series.
Exactly. I've been on the streaming service for too long. So like multiple streaming services at this point. So I think I only saw Barbie. I didn't even see Oppenheimer.
I don't even think I didn't see any of them.
I need to, be more culturally aware.
Yeah, we need to get into
my
the
goal
theater
this year.
Yes. All right. Well, thanks for the interesting stories. We'll check in with you next week. Thank you, Lydia.
All right, see you next week.
All right. Well, it is time to wrap up our first hour. So how about this one? Love Song by Sarah Bareilles.
Head underwater, and you tell me to breathe easy for a while. The breathing gets harder, even I know that. Made room for me, but it's too soon to see if I'm happy in your hands. I'm unusually hard to hold on to. Blank stares at blank pages. No easy way to say this. You mean well, but you make this hard on me. I'm not gonna write you a love song, 'cause you asked for it, 'cause you need one. You see, I'm not gonna write you a love song, 'cause you tell me it's make or break in this. If you're on your way, I'm not gonna write you to stay. If all you have is leaving, I need a better reason to write you a love song today. I learned the hard way that they all say things you wanna hear. My heavy heart sinks deep down under you, and your twisted words, your help just hurts. You are not what I thought you were.
Your Breaks to the World. BEFM 부산 영어방송.
가성비 좋은 간식 맛집 찾으세요? 맛있는 간식, 색다른 간식, 슈림프 스낵 랩 주세요. 맛있게 먹고 부담도 없는 가성비 간식 맛집은 해피스낵. 맥도날드에서 만나보세요.
다운이 삶은 갈치 플러스. 닦고 닦고 또 닦은 수건은 가운데에서 냄새가.
그래서 모서리로 닦아요.
새로운 다운이는 삶은 것 같은 탈취 효과로 30번 닦아도 계속
상쾌해.
다운이 삶은 갈치 플러스.
부산의 축제 어디까지 즐겨보셨나요? 과거와 현재, 미래가 공존하는 항구도시 부산. 이곳 부산은 계절을 물들이는 다양한 축제로 늘 풍성합니다. 봄의 시작을 알리는 봄꽃 축제부터 부산의 여름을 만끽하는 바다 축제, 전 세계 영화인들이 모이는 부산국제영화제와 새로운 시작의 해맞이 축제까지. 부산의 축제는 우리의 열정을 가득 담고 있습니다. 바쁜 일상은 잠시 뒤로 하고 특별한 시간을 선물 받는 바로 이곳 부산에서 우리의 삶은 축제가 됩니다. 축제로 하나 되는 부산. 여러분은 어떤 축제를 기다리시나요? 이 캠페인은 대선공익재단과 bfm 부산영어방송이 함께합니다.
혹시 지금 운전 중이신가요? 어린이 교통사고 피해자 수는 지난 3년 평균 약 9만 명. 특히 어린이 보호구역 안전기준이 강화된 이후에도 어린이 보호구역 내 사고는 지속적으로 발생하고 있습니다. 스쿨존에서는 반드시 시속 30km 이하 서행, 스쿨존 내 불법 주정차 금지, 차량 출발 전 앞뒤 좌우 살피는 습관으로 어린이가 안전한 도시를 만듭니다. 참, 운전 중 휴대전화 사용은 모두에게 위험합니다. 우리 모두를 위한 교통안전, 나부터 실천하면 모두가 안전해집니다. 어린이가 안전하게 뛰어놀 수 있는 부산. 아이 키우기 좋은 도시는 우리 모두의 미래이자 희망입니다. 이 캠페인은 어린이가 안전한 부산을 만드는 은행, B&K 부산은행과 함께합니다.
보이스피싱의 눈을 뜨시오.
공약미를 대출해드릴 수 있을 것 같아요. 근데 수수료를 좀.
보이스피싱 전화 올 땐 전화 끊고 확인하기.
실장님의 계좌가 금융범죄에 연루되었습니다.
기관 사칭 사기 전화 112로 신고하기. 택배 주소 오류 사기, 인터넷 주소 클릭한대.
늘 의심하고 꼭 전화 끊고 또 확인하고.
보인다 보여.
수법이
보이는구나.
눈을 뜨면 예방책이 보입니다.
공익광고협의회.
The time is now 8 o'clock.
Morning.
And what a lovely morning.
Dynamic Busan.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Hello, Chevy.
What show is this?
Hello.
Hello, baby.
Hey, buddy.
Hello, everybody.
Live from Korea's dynamic city, this is Morning Wave in Busan.
It is now time for news highlights. Rival parties announced 10 key pledges for upcoming general elections. With less than a month to go until general elections to form the 22nd National Assembly, both the ruling and main opposition parties announced their 10 key pledges, with a lot of focus on resolving the country's critically low birth rate and the climate crisis. The ruling People Power Party, or PPP, presented its 10 key pledges centered on three main agendas: addressing the low birth rate, easing the widening wealth gap, and responding to the climate crisis. The pledges include achieving a better work-life balance and support for small business owners and traditional market stall operators. Medical professors up threat to resign en masse. Professors from medical schools nationwide have begun to contemplate whether to submit resignations in collective action, pressuring the government to seek a breakthrough in the protracted walkout by trainee doctors, a medical professors group said yesterday. On Tuesday night, medical professors from 19 universities met online, decided to form a joint emergency response committee, and resolved to decide at their respective schools whether to collectively submit resignations. Each participating medical school will collect opinions from its professors and teaching doctors and come up with a decision by tomorrow on whether they would submit resignations en masse. Defense chief calls for capabilities to swiftly eliminate North Korea leadership in event of war. Defense Minister Shin Won-shi called on special operations troops yesterday to equip themselves with capabilities to swiftly eliminate the North Korean leadership if it starts a war against the South. Shin made the call at the Army Special Warfare Command in Icheon as South Korea has been conducting the Freedom Shield joint military exercise with the United States since last week to boost deterrence against the North's threats. The special operations exercise is aimed at strengthening operational capabilities in infiltrating key enemy command facilities and paralyzing their operations. President Yoon vows to expand budget for space development by 2027. President Yoon Suk-yeol stressed yesterday that South Korea's third miracle will involve space, as he said the journey for the nation to join the ranks of the world's top 5 space powers has begun. Yoon said that the creation of a space industry cluster comprising a 3-way system of South Cholla Province focusing on rockets, South Gyeongsang Province on satellites, and Daejeon on fostering talents will spearhead efforts to reach the goal of South Korea becoming a top space power. Yoon said the government will increase the budget for space development to over 1.5 trillion won by 2027. He also vowed to attract more than 100 trillion won in private investment and create over 250,000 jobs by 2045. U.S. House passes bill that could ban TikTok despite resistance from Trump. The House voted with bipartisan, overwhelming fashion on Wednesday local time to pass a bill that could lead to a nationwide ban against TikTok, a major challenge to one of the world's most popular social media apps. The bill would prohibit TikTok from U.S. app stores unless the social media platform is spun off from its Chinese parent company, ByteDance. The push to pass the bill came up against headwinds from several different political directions. Former President Donald Trump, who was once a proponent of banning the platform, while Democrats are facing pressure from young progressives, among whom TikTok remains a preferred social media platform. I have a correction to the first story where the rival parties announced their pledges. The main opposition, Democratic Party, presented its 10 key pledges as well, centering on 4 major agendas: recovering people's livelihoods, providing hope for the future, protecting democracy, and restoring peace. The pledges include overcoming the low birth rate and tackling the climate crisis. This was News Highlights. All right, everybody, we have Haley back in the studio, so let's say hi to her for Wagga Wagga.
Good morning. Happy White Day.
It is. Oh my gosh.
Okay, first of all, I'm glad I'm not the only person who's confused on who gives gifts to
For what?
whom.
Yes.
For White Day. Secondly, also, nerds, happy Pi Day. Fellow nerds, including myself. It's a 3.14, and even bigger nerds.
Still counting.
Happy Einstein's birthday.
Oh my gosh.
Which is also today. So
it's today.
You know.
We're celebrating on different fronts.
I've given all the knowledge I have on this day.
All right. So, and I have to say, some of the messages that have been coming up is definitely like about the proposals. I can't wait to read some of them. Very, very interesting.
They're interesting.
They're interesting. They're waggling out there. First, you have a couple stories on some interesting behavior from elected officials, or at least their office.
Right. So first, we're going to start locally. Busan's Gangseo district is under fire for excessive landscaping. So the district office this week pruned about some 10 trees that were lined up on a street in Myeongji, but the pruning is too much. It seems too much, with chunks of the branches cut off, and there are no leaves on some of the trees. It's basically just the trunk and stumps of what used to be branches.
Oh no.
What's also notable is that only the trees in this about 30 meters stretch have been pruned in this manner, and basically the other trees were kind of almost left untouched.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
What's special about this particular zone?
It happens to be in front of the campaign office for the district's current lawmaker, who's running again for office in the same district.
Raise eyebrows.
Yeah, so the campaign office also put up these giant banners of the lawmaker after the pruning. By the way, there are guides on these pruning because people don't like trees in front of their windows or whatever, or businesses for whatever reason.
Yes.
So because of this, it bans excessive pruning from civic complaints. And if pruning has to be done for safety reasons, they actually do need to go through the necessary assessment by the local government. However, the trees in question were far from any electrical lines or traffic signals or buildings. So it does raise questions. Well, the district office explained that this was done upon complaints from persistent complaints from the building's owner, who said that the trees were blocking the building's signs. and emphasized that it has nothing to do with the campaign posters. But even so, at least according to the rules, you're not supposed to prune the trees just because of the business reasons. Anyways, the lawmaker's office also stated that they never requested the pruning and they were not aware of the work, and actually the trees don't block the banners, so they see no reason for this anyways.
Okay. Well, our next story, I am going to get the clip here because there was an issue. I just want to make sure. Oh, I do have it. Okay.
Sure.
Yes, I have it. So let's talk about this next story. It's about marriage proposals, right? Apparently, one city councilman had a very public proposal during the council session. Is this true?
Right, it is true. Well, I'm not going to play. I have a clip, but it's actually a post-event interview with the lawmaker, courtesy of KBS, because during the actual proposal, he actually says his now fiance's name. So we're not going to play that. But this is Councilman Park Cheol-soo of Gwangyang City Council, Democratic Party, proposing to his girlfriend, and he's talking about it. Let's take a listen.
한 2달 전에 제 눈앞에 한 여인이 나타났습니다. 놓치고 싶지 않은 마음에 누구누구시 저랑 결혼해 주시겠습니까? 그랬죠. 며칠 동안 고심 많이 했고 이 정도로 확신을 가지고 있다는 걸 알려주고 싶었고 그걸 본회의장에 공표를 하면 그분도 좀 더 확신을 가지지 않을까 싶어서 우려됐던 부분은 이제 본회의장에서 이제 그게 제 사적인 발언을 좀 조금 물리를 일으킬 수 있다고 생각해서. 저도 늦게나마 과양시 인구 늘리기 정책에 이바지하고 싶으니 좀 많은 양해.
By the way, that music was not put in by me.
ours.
It's from the original broadcaster that aired the interview. So what happened, what he explained is that, so after the official questioning and answering of the session, Councilman Park says, sorry, this is personal. He says his girlfriend's name and says, will you marry me? So this 49-year-old councilman has been dating a worker at City Hall for about 2 months. She was watching via the real-time monitor, and she was obviously surprised, and he came to her office afterwards with flowers, and she accepted. He says basically all of this, but he felt that he kind of knew that it would cause a bit of backlash, and there has, and we'll talk about this in just a bit. And he knew that this was a bit inappropriate and that he feels bad about bringing this personal issue on such a public forum. But he wanted to propose, and because he loves her so much, he didn't want to let her go. And he said kind of doing this in a public manner would solidify it. So yeah, that's he was brave and he took the steps, and obviously it went well. They're getting married. However, there has been backlash with civic society saying that, lawmakers and elected officials shouldn't use public forums in such a private manner. However, some people do say, well, it's romantic. It's love. And, she said yes, so what harm is it doing? By the way, the mayor of the city did give him a verbal admonition. However, he also congratulated him. So there is some backlash, but it is what it is. I wonder what our listeners think.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Waivers out there. What do you think? Is it okay?
Right.
Public forum.
Also, would you like
money?
your boyfriend to propose to you in a televised
publicly?
manner? Yeah.
I don't know. And for these important moments, just personally speaking, I like to kind of keep them private. For me,
yeah.
For
also,
whoever's
the 2 months part was very surprising for me personally. I mean, some people know after a day.
Supposedly,
maybe
yes.
he did too. Yeah. Anyways,
all right.
Best
Interesting.
Best wishes.
Of course. Yeah. Next, there is an adult festival scheduled to take place in Suwon, and women's rights groups are protesting the event. So you gotta explain what do you mean by adult?
So this isn't. We don't mean to advertise this at all, but it is the news. So it's the 2024 KXF, or the Adult Expo.
Okay.
So it's basically, it's adult videos, adult content, adults.
Adult.
Yeah, like rated R adult.
Oh, I thought you meant non-kids.
No, like adult with the quotes. That event is scheduled for April 20th.
Yes.
It's only for adults at a private exhibition center in Suwon.
Right.
This is the second year for the festival. Last year's event apparently featured a model wearing lingerie, giving massages on stage with people taking photos of it.
Oh, gosh.
This year's event also has Japanese adult film stars, giving autographs and photo ops with them, as well as lingerie fashion show. So this is the event. Well, women's rights and other civic groups express concerns that these events kind of normalize basically paying for sex and for men's pleasure and objectifies as well as exploiting women. However, the organizers say that the event follows all legal procedures in terms of event planning goes. And they say the social atmosphere, which basically makes sex taboo, it fosters illegal sexual content and basically represses the desires, and that there is a need for free liberal discussions and education on sex. Yeah.
Okay.
So
perhaps on a related note, is there a theme today? I don't know.
It's happening. These things are all happening.
Right. I mean, wagga, right. There is a Maid Cafe, Maid MAID Cafe.
Yeah. Like
It's here in Busan?
Domestic help maid. You know, the costumes.
Oh.
Yeah. So maid cafes, it's a popular subculture that's based in Japan. A branch of it opened up in Seoul and now one in Busan as well. So this is it's a subculture, as I said, where all wait staff, I mean, they're all women, usually, at least iterations in Korea. They're dressed up in, you know, the maid costumes that we see in kind of
Are you
anime.
talking about like the typical French maid?
With the dust ruffles, all that. They play the part of the maid to the masters, aka the customers, and that's what they're called. So it's interesting.
I'm trying to.
Hey, no judgment. This is also once again all legal, but customers have to wear kind of animal ears and play by the rules, and it includes them saying kind of the spell out loud before eating. There are rules. It's a subculture. Let's just leave it at that. So customers say that it is, you know, it's a popular subculture. You know, it's a new thing in Korea, and the business does have rules to protect the workers. If, for instance, like no pictures of the workers' faces, no touching of their bodies or costumes, and etc. Of course.
Yes.
However, critics do say the practice is rooted in subserviency and objectification of women. And the particular cafe in Busan has a maid, like an animation of the maid painted on the outside of the building, and it says the words "Master, come on in," like "주인님 들어오세요" in Korean.
I so wish we didn't have cameras today because I can't.
I know.
My expressions. I'm trying.
And there are photos online. So many people have pointed out as this perhaps is inappropriate, just wide open out in the street because kids walk by it, and some parents say that they had questions from their kids and they just didn't know how to answer. But the thing is, speaking of the law, any advertisement that's under 5 square meters of area coverage is not against the law. So the district office legally cannot do anything about it. It said it's keeping an eye on it, but in terms of is something gonna happen? Probably not.
Okay, well, I don't know what to say. So.
Happy White Day. Sorry.
Well, thank you, I think, Haley, for these interesting stories. And we'll check in with you tomorrow. Today's Thursday, right? Oh, my gosh. It's one of those days. Well, thank you, Haley, once again.
Have a good day.
All right. And, so there you have it. That's it. You know, I love this segment because we talk about so many hot issues that, you know, you don't get to do in a news setting anyhow. Here is Annie. She's back in the studio for your traffic and weather updated version.
Good morning again, everyone. It is currently 8:17 a.m. and here is your updated weather and traffic. So the roads have remained quite busy. There's backup on Dongseok Overpass. That's from Hakjang Interchange to the Old Gaegeum Tollgate. It's also busy on Buam Overpass. That's from Yeonji Junction to Jinyang Intersection. And also busy on Jungwangdaero from Sojongcheon Intersection to Bugok Intersection. It is quite backed up throughout the city, so please drive safe. If we jump over to the weather, current temperatures are averaging 7 degrees Celsius now, with afternoon highs expected to rise to 17 degrees Celsius. It is a bit cloudy this morning, but it is looking to clear up late afternoon, so hang tight. And temperatures will quickly drop to single digits in the evening, so kind of dress accordingly and have your layers handy. That's all for now. Let's hand it back to Catherine.
All right, we are due for a song break, so here it is. This is Love, Love, Love by Roy Kim.
태어나 그대 눈을 처음 본 순간부터 난 그 태어난 알 수 없는 설레는 향기 속에 빠져 난 그대 눈을 항상 바라만 봤었고 그대도 나를 항상 바라길 바랬어 나 이젠 말할 거예요 이 목소리에 담아서 love 그래요 난 그대를 난 너무나 좋아합니다 love 그래요 난 그대를 난 정말로 사랑합니다 love 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 그대여 나 그댈 바라보는 것만으로도 난 그대여 나 그댈 생각하는 것만으로도 난 하루하루가 항상 빠르게 갔었고 그대도 나를 항상 바라길 바랬어 나 이젠 말할 거예요 이 목소리에 담아서 그래요 난 그대를 난 너무나 좋아합니다 love 그래요 난 그대를 난 정말로 사랑합니다 love 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 그래요 난 그대를 난 너무나 좋아합니다 love 그래요 난 그대를 난 정말로 사랑합니다 love 그래요 난 그대를 난 너무나 좋아합니다 love 그래요 난 그대를 난 정말로 사랑합니다 love 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 love
That was a good one by Roy Kim, Love, Love, Love. And I do apologize ahead of time. I know I've gotten lots of song requests today, but as you can see, I am handling the booth and working the little cameras here. So multitasking, a couple things. I can't do the song requests today, but I will relay your song requests to our producer. Maybe, hopefully she'll be back tomorrow and she can play your song requests. However, we do have our text topic to talk about before we get into our special interview. So it is White Day here in Korea. So White Day basically means it's very similar to Valentine's Day around the world. Today's a day where, traditionally, the man gives a gift or chocolate or candy to the woman if you're in a relationship. That's how it goes. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about proposals, whether you've gotten one, whether you want to be proposed to, or you're the one planning the proposal. What is ideal? Or maybe your real life stories. And I want to read this one. I thought it was so interesting. One of our listeners, Natasha Waver, says, my hubby had a very unique way of proposing. He comes into my house with his bank book, and he showed it to my dad and told my dad he was serious and wanted to marry me. So let's let that sink in a little. And then it says, so basically he was proposing to my dad, not me. So she says she wants another proposal. Oh, she says, just simple candlelight dinner. I don't want to be the center of attention. So a private room would be great because I'm a very shy person. I thought that was really, really interesting. So, different cultures have different ways of dealing with things like that. And then I see Umberto, my proposal was very simple. He says, my girlfriend was coming down the stairs from her building in Chicago. It was dark during the summer and the plan was to go out for dinner, but I got down on my knee and then it got cut off. And I was like, everybody's like, so what happened? Well, we all know that he's married, happily married with a son. So we know how that went, right? And I also see William. William apparently also proposed to, I'm looking for the message. To his wife, by the way, is Pam. I've spoken about them before. He proposed to Pam at Stanford on the campus. So it's an Elizabethan-style garden with a river and a stone bridge. And yes, Pam did say yes. So congrats to you, of course. I know you guys have been married like forever and in the best way. So anyhow, I will be back with our special interview. So stay tuned. All right, today for a special interview, we are going to be talking about what is happening in Haiti, because I know in Korea we call the country IT. In English, we call it Haiti. A country with a population of a little over 11 million, really been suffering from chronic violence, political crises, and hunger for the past few years. And I know you all remember that Haiti really struggled to recover from a devastating earthquake way back in 2010, and there were other natural phenomena as well. In recent months, there has been this critical collapse in security gangs, now apparently controlling much of the capital, Port-au-Prince. Let's find out more, because I did report to you, the listeners, about the prime minister, who, by the way, he was unelected, from what I understand, Ariel Henry. He announced his resignation. So let's get into the nitty-gritty. We have invited Robert Fatton Jr., who is a professor of politics in the Department of Politics at the University of Virginia, to speak on this issue. So let's say hi to him. Hi, Professor. Thanks for joining us today.
Well, thank you for inviting me. I'm quite pleased to be with you.
Yes, absolutely. So this country, Haiti, as I said in the forefront in the introduction, really has struggled with many issues, but of course, things like poverty and, if I'm not mistaken, a lack of proper infrastructure for many years now. So what attributes to this? Is it just poor leadership? Is it just, just decades upon decades of poor infrastructure? Or maybe you can tell us what the catalyst for the recent escalation in violence, where it lies?
Yes, the problems in Haiti are multifaceted. Not only have we had misgovernance, not only do we have a political class that is self-serving, but we've also had to deal with natural disasters, and you mentioned the earthquake that devastated Haiti. And we also had to confront the reality that there were a lot of foreign interferences in the affairs of Haiti that have contributed to the kind of state collapse that we see right now. And the situation now, I think, is one of the most difficult that Haiti has faced in its history. It's not just a natural catastrophe. This is something that has to do with the collapse of the economy, the collapse also of, if you wish, the moral fabric of society, and the extreme poverty that you have in Haiti, in particular in the slums, has also nurtured the rise of the gangs. So we have plenty of factors that can explain the situation now, but it is, as I've said, one of the worst situations that Haiti has faced. There is no government, actually. There is a multifaceted crisis in the security apparatus, and you have a a humanitarian crisis that has exploded in the last 2 weeks or so.
Ah, yes, indeed. Thanks for explaining what's been happening. So with the Prime Minister, Ariel Henry, his resignation, I have to say, but this came with, prior to that, this escalating gang violence that's been going on as well. Can you explain a little of that, of how that, the gang violence and that kind of led up to his resignation?
Well, the gangs are not new in Haiti. They've been part of the history of the country. What is new is that the gangs now are extremely well armed, and they have the capacity to strike at the major sites of Port-au-Prince. They attack the airport, they attack the National Palace, they attack all the jails in Port-au-Prince and release all of the criminals who probably will join also the gangs. And you have a situation, therefore, where the gangs have established their supremacy, their military supremacy in Haiti. The police in Haiti is extremely weak. It is somewhat corrupt. And therefore, what we are observing is literally the collapse of all institutions. I have to say, however, that you mentioned Ariel Henry, the Prime Minister. He has offered his resignation, but it's a resignation that depends on the establishment of a new government in Haiti. And that new government is something that has been in the works at a meeting in Jamaica, where the CARICOM countries, the Caribbean countries, the United States, the French and the Mexican and the Canadian have tried to create some sort of a solution for Haiti. It looked like it was going to work, but this afternoon things seems to be unraveling, because one of the major element of the coalition that was supposed to be formed has decided that he will no longer join the coalition, and that he wants a quite different dispensation. The other issue that is also of significance is the so-called international mission, and that international mission to Haiti is supposed to be headed by a Kenyan contingent of about 1,000 officers. That has not yet been confirmed because the government of Kenya has stated very clearly that they will not send those officers unless there is a government that has been established in Haiti. And so far, we do not have that. So the crisis may, in fact, deteriorate further, because you have problems with the coalition that was supposed to form that new government. And then you have the reality that the Kenyan government has said that they will not send their troops to Haiti unless that government is formed. And even in the best situation, if the government is formed and the Kenyans are willing to send those troops, they have to face the gangs, which are increasingly sophisticated, and they may have actually better weapons than the police itself. So it's going to be a very difficult road ahead. And the only thing that we can hope is that the whole society doesn't collapse completely and that the gangs take over, because they have threatened to take the National Palace.
Oh, indeed. And I want to talk about this former police officer turned gang leader. I believe his name is Jimmy Barbecue Cherizier. He's been at the head of some of the major attacks going on in Haiti. What do we know about him? How did he come into power? And maybe if we know his ultimate goal, what does he want?
It's not clear what he wants. He's clearly, nonetheless, the head of the major gang in Haiti.
I see.
And what is worrisome is that he has managed to federate, unify not only some of the small gangs, but all of them. And therefore, this is why they have acquired so much power. Cherizier sees himself sometimes as a revolutionary. He's said that he's like Mandela or like Che Guevara or like Martin Luther King. Depending on the day, he has a different idol, as it were. But the reality is that he's been extremely violent, and that violence is truly a violence that has affected in a really profound way the vast majority of the poor population in the slums. As we talk now, it is estimated that you have something like 350,000 people who are internal refugees in Port-au-Prince, and they are living in really horrible conditions because food is scarce, and they can't move because they fear that if they move, they will be in the crossfire between the police and the gangs. So the situation of that huge number of people is becoming increasingly alarming.
Yes, indeed. And it does seem that there are so many challenges, as you've told us about, Professor, that Haiti is facing right now. But this lack of trust between the government and its citizens, it seems to be very, very prevalent, even going back to, if I remember correctly, the former President Jovenel Moise, if I'm not mistaken,
Yes.
even when he was assassinated and the years thereafter. Is there any way you think that this trust can be rebuilt in any way?
It will require an enormous amount of work because most governments in Haiti have truly been predatory governments. In other words, they've been extracting resources from the poor majority. They've misgoverned the country. So most people in Haiti look at politicians as if they were almost aliens, and they don't trust them at all because they've never offered any type of real social structure in which they could, in fact, prosper. So there is, and there's always been, in particular in the last 100 years, a profound chasm between the population and the political class and the government.
Yes. Well, I believe the U.S. recently announced a security mission to Haiti aimed at assisting with some of the country's security challenges. What do we know about the objectives and scope of this mission?
Well, this is precisely the mission that the Kenyan officers are supposed to lead. What we know is that supposedly 1,000 officers are going to go to Haiti. But in the last few days, what we've heard is that only 400 officers have been trained and can be deployed at the moment to Haiti. But again, in order to deploy them, the Kenyan government wants assurances that there is a government and a functioning government in Port-au-Prince. And at the moment, there is no such a thing. The U.S. has given something like $200 million for that mission. It's not clear that it will be sufficient, and it's not clear either that the troops from Kenya will be powerful enough to really confront the gangs. There might be other troops coming from some other Caribbean nations and from a West African country. I think it's Benin.
Yes, yes. So to wrap up our discussion today, Professor, what do you see in the short and long term for Haiti?
Well, the short term is very uncertain. If you want to be hopeful, you want to believe that there will be a functioning government in the next 48 hours or 72 hours.
Yes.
If we don't have a functioning government in that time period, it may be too late because the gangs may have taken over and they may install whomever they want in the seats of power. So the situation is extremely perilous, and Haiti is on the edge, literally, of functioning like, a rational society. We're on the verge of a catastrophe.
Well, we're going to continue to follow this story, but thank you so much for coming on air with us, Professor, for our special interview. Take care, Professor. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Once again, everybody, this was our special interview. And of all the many things that the professor said, this uncertainty of what's going to happen, especially in the short term, hopefully that there will be some sort of leadership, whether it's a person, a group, that can really lead. And, as I say, I'm just saying leaders, not just necessarily being strongmen, but who can really serve the interests of the people of Haiti. And there you have it. This is our special interview, and we're going to take a song break. Here it is. This is Endless Love by Lionel Richie and Diana Ross.
My love, there's only you in my life, the only thing that's right.
My first love, your every breath that I take, your every step I make.
And I want to share all my love with you. No one else will do.
And your eyes, they tell me how much you care. Oh yes, you will always be my endless love.
Two hearts that beat as one. Our lives have just begun. I'll hold you close in my arms. I can't resist your charms. Oh Lord, I'll be a fool for you, I'm sure. You know I don't mind. You know I don't mind. 'Cause you mean the world to me. Oh, I know I found in you my endless love. I'll be that fool for you, I'm sure. You know I don't mind. Oh, you know I don't mind. And yes, you'll be the only one. 'Cause no one can deny this love I have inside. And I'll give it all to you, my love, my endless love.
You're now listening to the world's most reliable morning show, Morning Wave in Busan with Catherine. Text in to BEFM pounder sharp 9050 for 101. You can also reach us for free through our YouTube live stream or on Kakao Talk. Begin your morning with Catherine, and don't forget to reboot your day after lunch. Stay tuned for Steve Hatherley Reboot every day from 2 to 4 p.m.
it's now time for City Insights. So we have the lovely Haeyeon in the studio. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, so I don't know if you're celebrating or whatnot, but happy White Day.
네, 맞아요.
Or Pi Day, as Haley says at 3.14, the
That's
math
true.
pi. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
true.
yeah. Yes, so let's dive into our first City Insight. What do you have for us?
All right, our first insight this week is all about volunteer work. I sat down with the chairperson of the Korean Red Cross Busan Chapter Volunteer Committee, Ms. An Jung-hae, and she's someone who's dedicated her life to helping others through volunteering for over 20 years. So in total, she says she's clocked in over 16,000 hours of volunteering.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's amazing, right?
Yes, 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 absolutely. So tell us more about the work that they do through the Korean Red Cross.
Yes, the Korean Red Cross, with over 8,000 volunteers in Busan, known as the Angels in Yellow Vests, engage in social service activities across 205 administrative areas in our city. Through initiatives like the Himang Pungcha or the Hope Windmill program, they support crisis-stricken families, offering tailored assistance and also emotional support. They also conduct various community services, including blood donation campaigns, free meal distribution, and disaster recovery support with a focus on helping vulnerable groups.
I see, I see. Well, let's hear more about how she began her volunteer work.
Yes. She shared that it was actually a time of hardship in her life after she was in a car accident that got her onto this path. Yeah. She was compelled to join a volunteer organization, and it brought her so much joy and satisfaction.
I see. Wow. So I'm sure she has heard quite, the story or stories from her, 2 decades of volunteering?
Yes. So here's Ms. An Jung-hae sharing some stories of a few of the people she's met throughout the years. Let's take a listen.
감동적이고 안타까운 사연은 수없이 많습니다. 우리가 몇 년 전까지만 해도 목욕 봉사를 했거든요.
네.
목욕 봉사를 하면 깨끗이 어르신들의 목욕을 시켜드리고 잠시 며칠 후 하늘나라로 가셨다는 소식을 들었을 때 마지막 가시는 길에 그나마 그렇게 깨끗이 목욕을 시켜드린 그런 게 많이 생각나고요. 수해 지역에 갔을 때는 작년에 있었던 일인데 예천에서 함께 잠을 자던 와이퍼가 산사태가 나서 계곡 물살이 떠내려가는 그런 얘기를 들었을 때 굉장히 마음이 아픈 일들이 많았습니다. 그리고 또 8남매 가족이 우리가 연기를 해서 이렇게 희망봉사 세대를 하고 있는데 생전 여행을 한번 못 가봤다고 해서 10명 가족이 어디 여행 가기는 정말 쉽지 않거든요. 그래서 그 사연을 듣고 10명의 가족을 제주도 여행을 보내드렸는데 다녀와서 보내준 남편의 편지가 아직도 너무 감동적이고 제 머릿속에 남아 있습니다.
So that was Ms. An Jung-hae sharing some moving and heartbreaking moments in her years of volunteering work through the Korean Red Cross. The first one was up until a few years ago, they were providing bath services to senior citizens or those with disabilities. And she remembers when they received news that a woman she had helped bathe had passed away just a few days after she gave her a clean bath. It was, of course, sad, but she felt a bit of relief that she was able to send her off with a fresh bath. And another story is during their visit to a flood-affected area last year in Yecheon, she met this man in his 50s whose spouse was swept away in her sleep during a landslide. And it was just so heartbreaking, and he was in panic, and the volunteers did their best to offer him, emotional support. And on another occasion, there was a family with 8 siblings who had never been on a family trip together. So they organized a trip to Jeju Island for all 10 family members.
Wow.
And the letter of gratitude they sent to her afterwards was deeply moving.
Oh my goodness, such wonderful stories to hear about. Sad in some regard, of course, but the fact that they were able to overcome. I hear that she has a very supportive husband who keeps her motivated.
Yeah, so she shared that her daily life very much revolves around the volunteer work. So it's inevitably, it takes up time that she would usually spend with her family.
Sure.
So before she decided to take on the role of the chair of the Busan Red Cross, she asked her husband about it. And he was so sweet about it and said that, for over 40 years, you've supported me. So now it's my turn to support your passion. And he hopes that this world will become a more beautiful place because of her work. Sweet, right?
Sweet. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So is the Busan chapter of the Korean Red Cross, I'm thinking, open for more volunteers?
Indeed. She shared that their goal this year is to grow the team up to 10,000 volunteers. So if you're feeling inspired, you can reach out to the Busan chapter of the 대한적십자사 봉사회. And if it feels daunting to jump in right away, she said that you can start out by making donations as they are working solely on donations.
I see. Well, what a meaningful first city insight.
Yes.
But we do have to get to our second one.
All right, Catherine, have you tried 구포국수?
I mean, I've heard about it. I mean, we have I haven't tried it. What exactly is kupoguksu?
So it's this brand of noodles that they're very, especially chewy and very savory. 짭조름한 맛.
짭조름.
Yeah. This week I had the chance to talk to the president of Kupo Noodles, Mr. Heo Young-min. Kupoguksu originate from it started from a small retail business in Busan's Kupo area.
Yes.
Evolved from selling goods sourced from a noodle factory in the 1970s. And then they acquired a family-owned factory. So from then on, they've been manufacturing and selling noodles under the brand Kupoguksu.
Yes, yes. So how did Kupo noodles or guksu go from a local family business to kind of this very well-known dish all around in Korea?
Definitely. So historically, the Kupo area, which is close to the Nakdong River, they thrived as goods from nearby regions like Jinhae, Masan, and Gimhae flowed into their riverside market. They were quite the transportation hub, also with the train station that started since 1905.
Sure.
With numerous noodle factories emerging, fueled by the flour from these goods that were at the markets there, Kupo became renowned for their noodle dish. And this reputation spread widely, especially during the Korean War, when refugees in Busan sought out something cheap and delicious, and it turned out to be kupoguksu. Then after the war, when those people returned to their hometowns, through word of mouth, kupoguksu really just started spreading across the country.
Oh my goodness. So kupoguksu was there for Koreans during the war. It was affordable, tasty, right?
Yeah. And I feel like as a fan of kupo noodles, you can't really go wrong with it. It can be in broth, and you can be mixed bibimbuksu with vegetables and spicy sauce. So I asked Mr. Ho about the secret behind their chewy texture and savory flavor. Let's take a listen.
예전에는 국수는 실외에서 건조했는데요. 구포는 지역 특성상 국수를 건조하기 좋은 조건인 따뜻한 기온하고 낙동강에서 불어오는 온풍 그리고 적당한 습도를 가지고 있어서 건면국수를 생산하기에는 좋은 조건을 모두 갖추고 있다고 볼 수 있습니다. 예, 온도, 바람, 습도 이런 게 삼일체가 돼서 국수면이 말려놨을 때 보다 쫄깃하고 짭짤하다는 게 특징입니다. 하지만 아시겠지만 현재는 식품위생상 실외 건조는 할 수 없기 때문에 이를 실내로 옮겨와서 자동 이행 건조를 통해서 기존의 쫄깃하고 오래 두어도 잘 퍼지지 않는 면을 유지하기 위해 실내 건조장 온습도를 조절하거나 반죽 과정에서 진공 상태로 반죽을 하는 등의 노력을 통해 제품의 품질을 유지하고 있습니다.
He said that in the past, noodles were traditionally dried outdoors, and Kupo's local climate, with its warm temperatures and the gentle winds coming from the Nakdong River, provided ideal conditions for enough humidity for this process.
Sure.
This resulted in its signature chewiness. However, because of the modern food hygiene standards, outdoor drying was no longer practical, and now they do the indoor automatic drying methods. To preserve the original texture and prevent them from getting soggy easily, indoor drying facilities carefully regulate the temperature and humidity, and they sometimes apply vacuum kneading to maintain its quality.
Oh, yes. So I have noticed places outside of Busan, although I've never tried it, I said, that use the kupoguksu name.
Yeah, definitely. You'll be able to see signboards of kupoguksu in other cities, too.
Yes.
And he explained that the brand itself can't be monopolized because of its association with the region name of Kupo. kind of similar to 순창 고추장.
Okay.
So there are many restaurant franchises in different parts of the country that use the 구포국수 signboard. I was curious what he thought about it, and he views it positively because it ultimately enhances the brand's visibility and marketing to more consumers.
Wow. So now I want to try it. Definitely.
I highly recommend it.
And I don't know. I love noodles. Any kind of noodles.
It's the
What's your
universal
favorite?
love language. I love a good lemon pasta. I love a good bibinnnaengmyeon.
Oh, so hungry. Yeah. Oh, and like, I don't know. I've been making like pho at home.
Yes.
So
what is it about noodles, whether it's with broth or not? It just makes us feel better.
It's comfort food. I think, anyways. Now that we're thoroughly hungry at 8:54 in the morning, we're going to have to say goodbye to him. But thank you so much for the City Insights today. We appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Everybody, this was Han once again. Well, can you believe the 2 hours have just flown on by? It's time to say goodbye to all of you. And by the way, thank you so much for tuning in, chiming in, and bearing with me today as I did operate the board. I wish you well. And, you know, today, whether you're a guy or a gal, reach out to your loved ones. And if need be, say, I love you. Yes, it's that kind of day. How about this one? We're talking about proposals today. On Bended Knee by Boyz II Men. That's my final pick for today. Enjoy and join me again tomorrow. Bye, everybody.
Darling, I can't explain. Where do we lose our way? Girl, it's driving me insane. And I know I just need one more chance to prove my love to you. And if you come back to me, I'll guarantee that I'll never let you go. Can we go back to the days that love was true? Can you tell me how a perfect love goes wrong? Can somebody tell me how to get things back the way they used to be? Oh God, give me no reason. I'm down on bended knee. I'll never walk again until you come back to me. I'm down on bended knee. So many nights I dream of you, holding my pillow tight. And I know that I don't need to be alone. When I open up my eyes to face reality, every moment without you, it seems like eternity. I'm begging you, come back to me. We go back to the days of love, oh baby. Can you tell me how a perfect love?
Your Race to the World. BFM 부산영어방송.
가성비 좋은 간식 맛집